Hi guys, welcome back to Istank Reviews, having a look at the Zeiss 35mm f2.8, and I've been meaning to actually do this review for quite some time. I never really got around to it. It's actually the only full frame E-mount lens that I own, along with the kit lens, and that's what we're actually going to test it against today. So I've got the kit lens here. I've dialed it as close as I can to 35mm. Turned out to be 36, but close enough. Everything else stays the same, so shutter speed, ISO, aperture, all of that will be the same between these tests, and you'll be able to see the image quality comparison. So just how much image quality difference there is between the kit lens and the 35mm 2.8. I think a lot of us are on the fence as to what prime we would like to buy. If you are still choosing between the 35 and the 55, I have the video of the 55 as well, just uploaded, so do check that out by either clicking in the middle of your screen or going down to the link description. It'll be there as well. So before we jump into the results, what are we testing against? So these are, what items are we going to test it against? I've got a lanyard here from Intel, a feather that I plucked from my bird. It was actually a broken feather and needed to be taken out anyway, so anyone's going to be like, rah, animal rights and all that sort of stuff. Don't want to hear it. But yeah, I've got a whole bunch of stuff here. The reason I've chosen the feather specifically is because of the resolution detail. It's really actually very challenging for cameras to display a feather correctly. And before I actually jump into the results, which you want to see, definitely because they're very compelling, I do want to talk about the versatility of this lens and the way that I've actually been using it. So I've been using it, primarily, I've been taking photos of my bird in sort of nature photography, if you want to call it that. I've done wide-angle portraits in the Hunter Valley. I've done a lot of car photography in low light and daylight as well. And yeah, done a really good long exposure, 768 seconds, Brisbane River. It's one of my favorite shots actually. And all of these were 35 2.8 with various settings. You can check those settings out by heading to my Flickr, which is in the links description below. And particularly with this shot, I was very fortunate to get the ferry and the plane coming across at the same time. So a bit of luck there involved. So what we're going to do is have a look at the results. We're going to jump straight into Lightroom. Both of these shots on a cable shutter release, so there's no shake or anything, and yeah, we're going to compare them straight up. So one of the first things you actually realize is just how much detail there is on the right side compared to the left side. Obviously the 35mm is on the right, whilst the kit lens is on the left, and that'll be true for all the shots that you're about to see coming up. So as you can see here with the Ultrabook, I mean, you lose a lot of the detail in the threading with the lanyard, especially the text there as well. You can't even hardly see or recognize that TM symbol. So we're going to bump up the aperture. This is f13, and as you can see, even at f13, the kit lens is still struggling with that feather detail, as I mentioned previous. So everything else is pretty much on par. I mean, if you want to get picky, the colors are a bit better on the 35mm f2.8 compared to the kit lens. And then we're going to do a last test, and this last test is pretty compelling. This is actually both lenses wide open at their maximum apertures, so 2.8 for the 35mm and 4 for the kit lens. As you can see here, even at a lower aperture, we still resolve much more detail with the 35mm f2.8. So very good results there. It's a pretty clear win for the image quality of the Zeiss over the kit lens, which should be a surprise to absolutely no one. Now, as mentioned, I did take a few photos of my pet parrot kitty, and it's a cake parrot for those of you who are going to ask. But the results are pretty outstanding. I mean, controlled environment like this and just really good lighting really brings out the best on this lens, especially at these were all shot at 2.8, so that's even more incredible. And the results, I mean, they speak for themselves. I've gotten some really good shots over the time that I've had this lens, and I obviously highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for a wide-angle prime for the A7, A7R. I wouldn't even be bothered to look at some of the manual focus options, especially with this one. This lens is it's really quite quality. Alright, so we've seen basically what the lens can do and just how it compares to the kit lens. If you are choosing between the 55mm and the 35, it's all down to user scenario, and you've seen a whole bunch of the scenarios that you can use the 35mm for. I think it's the more versatile lens, in my opinion. So if you want to join the conversation, we're on Facebook as well, and do check out our Flickr down in the links description below. If you've enjoyed the content, you want to see more, there's plenty more videos to go through, and yeah, subscribe, hit that subscribe button. I will see you guys next time. It's a pleasure to see you guys here, back again for another video. It's been Dan K. Goodbye. Good night.